Hello everybody, today we are going to make an OpenGL project. Yes, OpenGL project, or basically a game with OpenGL. This is a first tutorial where we will just learn basic window creation and all of that in C++. I'm in Linux and we will be using SDL and OpenGL in C++. So first thing you have to know, if I'm in Linux, because I hate linking libraries, you can just install SDL2. Yeah, install it. You can install glue. Yes, glue and all of that. And most of the things, if something is not you have to deal with, you can just ask ChatGPT. Let me make a new directory for our project. It will be OpenGL tutorial. Yeah, OpenGL. Yes. So if we list here, it's empty, and we can just create a main file and just write it along. Let me make nvim main.cpp and just write here, but we want basically it's only a personal preference. You can just write it down in a main cpp if you want, just for organization for future project. We'll also create a make source and enters there. No, not enter there. Let me open anyway. And we have source where we create main.cpp. Yeah, we have main cpp where we can just firstly save, right, in Vim. And yeah, I really have to reconfigure my nvim. So here we will include, yeah, you must know in C++, of course, you must include the main libraries. We will include SDL2, SDL, and we will include GL as glue. I will use glue. You can use others if you want. Personal preference glue. It's easier to work with. And we have to also, yeah, let's just add iStream. So now we will have to make a main, right? Integer main function. We have a main function. Now here is the thing. If you know C++, and I'm sure you know, and you must know it, without knowing it you're not going to learn OpenGL, bro. First learn what is a programming at all first. So we have a main, and first thing we have to do is initialize SDL, as SDL is a library that can help us work with the window creation and all of that easier than manually working with every AP of every window manager of every operating system, or basically any desktop environment. So we will create, the first thing is SDL init, and SDL init always returns 0 or 1. If it's successful, it will return a 0, and if it's not, it will return a 1 as a function. And we will initialize the video itself. Let me do it like init, no god, SDL init video. Yes, so it will just, and in case if something bad happens, we can just say if, copy it here, and put it in a condition. So if or init returns a 1, which means it have returned an error, we'll say standard cout SDL init error, and we can just grab an error from SDL, right? Error code. If I remember, it was an error code. I usually don't use it, so it might be a problem. Let's just check it out. So we will use G++, right? And source main output is a main file that will run, and we have to link our SDL to. And here it is, a main. Now we can run it. It have run fluently, which means SDL init did not return any error. Now if it's correct now, right? We have initialized our SDL init, our SDL library. Now we have to initialize glue. For now, we might just not do it. We can just not do it, but we will. For now, just know you always have to initialize the most of the things you want to know. Glue init, and if it is not okay, right? It is equal, and it's not equal. If we add this sign, I don't know how it's called, and we name it glue okay. Glue okay is just a true, but just a form of glue if it's not okay or not. It's basically just something we don't really have to care about much. Cout is glue init failed error, and SDL glue error. We have to get a glue error. I don't have any idea how we can get this. I have never tried this before, but we'll see. So if it is glue, no, doesn't matter. We can just wrap it like this. It will just say that it was not able to initialize or glue. Now we have initialized glue init and SDL, and now we can create our window. So we use SDL, so I will create window, and so every time we call one window that has already loaded in memory, we just make it a pointer, and window, which is equal to SDL create window function that returns the actual window. We give it a title, main, or Flappy Bird if you want, as it's an experiment game we're going to make with OpenGL, texturing and all of that. So we have integer x, first integer and second is position. If you want it to be center, you can just say SDL window position center, centered, right, for boss. And for width and height, I can just put 800 and 600. We will shape it later when we will actually design a game itself. Right now we're just creating a window. So for here we must do SDL window OpenGL, so it must know that it has an OpenGL content. If you want to make it also full screen for your own purposes, you can just say SDL window full screen. If you put it on a full screen, it will ignore height and width and just make it full screen, but we're not going to do this for today. So we have created a window, but window itself is empty and it has to have something inside it. So we will create SDL GL context and graphical library context. It does need to be a pointer, so we will just name it GL context, or name it whatever you want, and we will create SDL gl create or create and context, yeah, SDL gl create context, and we just gave the name of our window, which is window. Yeah, it's that easy. Now we have created window and gl context, but program immediately ends after this. Let me just set it here. Return expression 0, and it immediately returns to 0 and closes the program, so Windows will close it immediately. In order to not to close it immediately, we have to make a while loop that is basically our program re-renders or clears the screen of our window and redraws it based on information that was cleared and done per second. So we will make a boolean that is running, which is true. When program starts, it immediately runs. We will put it running, and then we have a while loop that will run our program. And I have to make sure, and you should make sure, to make a quitting system for your program before you run it. So we will create SDL event. If you use other like GLF, I have never used it. It should have its own event system, but I'm using an event. It will just be a empty event. And inside our running, we also add a while, and inside it we SDL pull event and point out our event, SDL event, right? So it will check the events we have done inside running. If basically the structure is, if our program starts to run inside a while, which means it started rendering, it will firstly thing it will do is check if we press something with while SDL pull event. Pull event will not check what we pressed, rather it will check what kind of signal it got from a system. So if or event type is equal to SDL quit, which means our system asks program to quit, we must put running to false, stopping or while properly, or just break it if you want, and basically stopping the program. But if you want it to quit when you press an actual button, you must firstly create const, and const uint 8. You know, it's better than an integer because it's smaller and can contain enough, and not much but enough, to hold and understand all the current form of your keyboard you have pressed. And key state, which means key state will be inside of while loop, so it will reassign itself every moment you press some kind of button. So if you didn't press it, it will stay null, and if you pressed it, it will stay something like Q, E, or double G if you want. And by this we can get, if it's a double G, you press double G, so it will start to move or object and all that. So SDL get keyboard state, which is null by itself. Now make sure it's make sure uint is a pointer, because we are pointing to only one key state without reusing it, and make sure it's not inside the SDL pull event while loop but outside of it. And then we press make if we write key state and has a SDL scan code, and maybe let's say escape, we can just set running to false. Now our program shall close correctly. Now it is or while, right? So now as we created the event system and control system of our window, so we can close it if we want by pressing escape, and when system tries to close it. And now we have to make the rendering itself. After checking the events, we will render. So first thing is GL clear. GL clear will clear the colors that has been drawn. So we say GL color buffer bit will be clear. So it will clear all the colors that has loaded the buffer in memory, if I remember correctly, and clear color, which will clear everything to one color, and then make sure you how to say, okay, we'll talk about it later. So currently we cannot directly write RGB like others, something like CSS. We have 0 to 1.0, and we will press something like 0.5, 0, or just 0.0, and 0, yeah, and alpha is basically a 1, right? Now it clears screen, but to actually show it, we must also make SDL GL swap window, which will swap over window buffer and making window to change its colors change its frames per second. Now let's try to run it. We have used SDL2, but now we also have to use OpenGL. If I remember, we have to make this. No. Glue. Yeah, I have forgot how to connect it. Yeah. We just forgot to add L. So, and define the reference. So, let me add a glue again. Oh, here. Now let me run. Oh, here we have our window. As you can see, it's red fully, and when we press escape, it closes, right? We can change its colors here, 5.5, and run. And here we have other colored window, and it actually moves perfectly, as you can see. Sadly, my mouse is asshole because, you know, I'm unemployed for now, but it's not a problem. Oh, we can see that glue in it is returning error because I forgot to make sure that our glue in it here do not have this sign, because it is returning it because this is working differently from SDL and working backwards. Let me do it again. Now it's fixed. And so if we take it like this, for now we will do it more of a darker. Oh, I accidentally put it like this. Let me do it again. Oh, here it is. Here is the example. So if you liked the tutorial, please consider subscribing so it can help me a bit, maybe emotionally at least. And if you if it shows that you want to actually learn it, and I will be happy to help you with that in the future. Comment, share, and subscribe. Yeah, what else I can say? Okay, bye. Say your day.
Bye bye.